Okay, we're back, everybody. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back to some more Edge of Morality. Shall we continue?
Yeah.
Good luck, Bear. Just keep nudge you towards the evil spectrum. Just
Nobody's here to pull me back anymore.
Grommen was kind of there, almost, but when Grommen got too stupid, he really couldn't. Rye has just been gone far too long.
It's just literally gone, yeah.
Again, you're welcome, Mathis. I told you I intentionally wanted only both of you guys today, so you have free reign. If you add Sam, come back today, and we had Rye today, would you have this situation with Otto right now?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what would be going on if Sam were here. It would be more.
He'd be throwing a stick in the cogs for sure.
He'd probably sneak along with me and blow up all the orcs. All right. Anyway, continue.
So Otto. Like what are you doing here? And this, that's my.
That was good. Perfect. It was perfect. It was. I've never heard better.
What are you doing here? No, that's terrible. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm done. Otto, please.
Yes. So I've received instruction.
My apologies. I would just want to paint the scene, I suppose, for you, or
Yeah.
ask questions. So immediately after he left that bar, he went and did you just have a regular night as Otto the Ottoson, or are you going to immediately get to work yourself as well? Like it can wait till morning, or
no, that's an it can wait till morning kind of thing for sure. So it was like, he gives me the job. I'm not gonna do the job right away. What am I, some kind of diligent worker?
Poor employee.
I'm gonna put off the job, procrastinate it until it becomes, like the dread builds up enough to the point where I feel like I have to do it.
That sounds like our YouTuber.
So I wait a day or so, and then I decide, all right, I'll make my way over to the guards bar, and I'll see what I can do.
Okay. So and you head over there, and the guards are when you first get there and they initially go to let you in, there's like a bit of a hold up at first, like, hey, what are you doing? Oh, hey, it's Otto, hey, and they welcome you in pretty quickly. There's a hold up at first. Now, when you get down there, do me a favor, roll me an insight check, please, Otto.
Okay.
Okay.
Dead even.
So, I mean, you go down there and you more or less you are able to garner no extra information. So you go down there and they are happy to see you and they're happy to chat with you and all that stuff. They're just excited that immediately after you put in a great performance, you had a few drinks and you went to go hang out with them instead of with your adoring fans, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so,
no, absolutely.
So they appreciate that and they show that appreciation by giving you drinks because they're your adoring fans. And
they know the way to my heart.
Of course. The liver. So you make your way down there and you start having conversation with them, schmoozing and all that stuff. So there's nothing really. If you want to just roll me a flat charisma check, not save,
sure.
Check.
Boom.
So you're doing good schmoozing with them. It's not like Otto's greatest performance, but you are hanging out with them. So what is it you're saying or doing this first night?
Well, first of all, I'm wondering if, as I've made better acquaintances here in the guards bar, is there a name for this bar? Did we learn at all?
No name.
No,
it's not a bar. Remember, it's like somebody's basement.
It's like a speakeasy, more or less.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's exactly what you said last time too, which is funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I would like to kind of, based on the knowledge I've accrued about these people, I'm wondering if I would be able to use an insight roll or something to determine who among them is the most gossipy, who among them is the most likely to, be spreading word around the town and having the ear of every guard in the patrol.
So you're trying to find that out through insight or through conversation and asking that, more or less trying to work that information out, asking directly.
I don't think I'm to, pick anyone's brain about it. I think I just kind of want to rely on my own insight of what I've identified about these people. I think Otto's the kind of person who's going to be able to spot somebody else who likes to talk, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, yes. So roll me the insights for it to pick it up that way. Because like you said, you're not going to be like, who's the blabbermouth around here?
Right,
so,
yeah. No,
I would. So one of the things that you can do is when you ask questions like that, you can just roll it with disadvantage to be discreet. So even if you fail, people don't know that that's what you're trying to do. So, but you roll your insight check to see if you can find out just through insight. So it's not a particularly difficult thing to do. You can find out who's the looser lipped guard amongst them. And that guard actually, it's funny because they kind of stood out in your mind before, but you realize like these guards here that you're hanging out with barely ever talk about work, barely ever talk about what's going on. There are other guards that were here last time, and it's through your haze of strangely good memory that Otto has. You do remember that guard is actually not here today because they stood out in your mind last time.
Yeah. Okay. Is there anybody in particular that guard likes to hang out with that might be here today?
I'm sorry. Ask that one more time.
Is there any guard in particular like that I've seen that guard hang out with that might be here in the bar tonight?
Absolutely, and his name's Bill.
Okay, great. I want to go talk to Bill.
Okay. Like
I walk up and I have 2 drinks in my hand, so I walk up, I bring Bill a drink, I say, Bill, how are you?
Oh, just enjoying the night.
Good to hear. Good to hear. I met his friend's name. Do you want to toss one out for me?
Larrabee.
Scott, you gotta get to a website. It's like fantasy name generator. Just click.
I have people yell that at me all the time, but you know what? Larrabee is a solid name.
I'm gonna call him Kevin.
There you go.
Poor Larrabee.
Bear doesn't want to talk to himself.
It's a little weird for me. I haven't seen Kevin around for a minute.
So do I have to? Is Kevin canon now?
It is now.
I've decided. I've asked him a question.
Are you gonna actually like question whether Otto's his name could be Larrabee, but Otto just said Kevin.
Kevin Larrabee.
Yeah, right.
My name's Otto Tumo Miltall. Nobody calls me that.
D1000. If it's less than 100, his name was Larrabee. You just call him Kevin, and it's stuck. Okay. Less than 500. Oh, okay. There you go. His name is actually Larrabee, but you just call him Kevin, and it hasn't stuck.
Yeah, but he keep doing it.
I'm the one trying to make it stick. All right.
Yep. Hey, so listen, we all have our jokes that just don't make it. Okay. I know a lot about that. Okay. So Kevin.
Larrabee.
Oh yeah, Kevin. Yeah. He's working. His shift got changed. He's working nights lately.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Must be on account of that recent ruckus, perhaps, yeah? Well, with the orcs and whatnot.
Oh. Yeah, and you see he takes his mug, and he does it like a double tap, and he raises it up, and like one person next to him heard it or saw it and did it, and like all of a sudden it kind of like spreads around the bar. Everybody does like a double tap, raises up, and then they all drink kind of together.
Otto does the same, just sort of out of a sense of obligation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he says, my respect to those you lost.
Thanks. Yeah, the guards, we switched up where it is people are and how many and how, we've had to pull in the militia. People are pretty upset about it. Yeah.
Do you worry, perhaps, that it won't be enough?
No. It was an isolated incident. It's what I'm here to drink.
Otto looks genuinely concerned, like he's trying to convey that like I want these now my new friends to be safe. I'd like for them to be sure that they're going to be okay.
Roll me a persuasion check to see if you can kind of like convince this guy to speak to you.
Sure.
So he's sitting there and he's like, actually, God, I'm going to shoot myself in the foot here. Otto,
Luck?
before you came down to this bar, you have luck, of course.
Yeah.
One left. Otto, before you came down to this bar, would you have given yourself a little bit of inspiration knowing that it lasts for 10 minutes?
Yeah, I would.
You know what I mean? It's like you knew what you were going to be doing. I should not be offering this as a DM. I'm hating myself for it.
That's a plus 1d6, right? Is that?
I think you're D8 now.
Yeah, it's a D8.
That's why I'm kind of like.
Oh my goodness! There we go.
Like I said, shooting myself in the foot. So you give him like the puppy dog eyes, and you're just like, I'm concerned for your safety and whatnot. And he's like, and so your question was, are you ever concerned it's not going to be enough? And he's like,
yeah.
Yeah, no, listen, I think it's fine. I think it was an isolated incident, that there are a couple of idiots that are out there. I don't think it has anything to do with anything else. I'm assuming that they ran off. I don't even think they were scouts for a tribe. Last time we came across a tribe, we decimated them pretty handedly. We happened to have a few riders. We decimated them pretty handedly and sent a word out. I don't think that it was a thing. It was isolated. This is just an overreaction by the city guard, because we have less protected citizens outside the wall and more people here. And we can't look weak while we have the gold rush happening. We need to pull in these people. It's good for the city. So it's just, it's an overreaction. And I think it'll blow over pretty soon, because nothing's happened since. It's just an overreaction.
Yeah, Otto's fully invested in the conversation. He's hearing everything Bill is saying. You know, again, making it seem like, you know, this is an extremely pressing matter, and sort of, you know, doesn't quite believe what he's saying, and you can see it in his face that Otto is not exactly believing what he's being told. Yes, well, it's just takes a little drink. You know, sorry, go ahead.
No, please continue.
You know, I wouldn't dare suggest anything so perhaps ignorant, but these orcs, bless them. Two of them are my best friends, or at least I would consider them among my best friends, but not all of them are. Thunk, you know him well, yes.
And my shoulder still hurts from that other friend of yours.
You're lucky it was just the shoulder. But, my goodness, the threat they can pose when they band together, he becomes deadly serious at this point. Are you sure your men are prepared?
They are prepared for what's going to come, and nothing's going to come. But
so they're prepared for
what do I know? I'm just a lieutenant. I have the ear, but I don't sway the will.
I wouldn't be so sure of that nothing. That's the only part I'm worried about.
Now you just sound like the rest of the rabble rousers. Otto, listen, you do what you do, and you do it great. You sing your songs and you play your lute, and I love your performances, and I bring my wife to see them, and it gets her riled up every time. But you leave the protecting of the town to those that have made that their careers. You know what I mean?
Otto turns to him with, again, a serious, almost somber look on his face. You know, these stories I tell, they're from my perspective most of the time. I've been many places, seen many things, and I've seen many towns feel that they were safe. And he just sort of gives that 1,000-yard stare after he says that. He looks back over at Bill. I like you. I like this town. I like these people. I don't want to see them suffer similar fates.
You're not actually lying. Some of those stories are yours. Some of them are. It's an exaggeration, but not a lie.
Yeah.
So roll me a persuasion check.
Sure.
Nice.
I'll be okay with that. Let me throw the inspiration on it too, though.
Oh, you already would have used that. Yeah, because you have to actually give it to yourself as an action. So you would have
right, yeah, okay. So that was just the one. I see. Cool.
Yep. So you kind of would have had it on reserve from before, and you blew your load, buddy. Your whole load of one.
That's
so
right.
He's like, I get it. I understand this. You make perfect sense, but that's not this situation. There's no reason to. There's a truce that has just happened between the orcs of the north and ourselves. We've put so much into what we've done to protect this place. I honestly do not think that they are going to be a concern. And No offense, Otto, but I hope I'm able to bend the will of those that do think so, because right now we're burning resources. We have our militia. They're on regular guard duty. We have our guards on scout duty. We have our scouts acting as deep scouts, going out there with not enough supplies to do so, because even though we have more money coming in, that doesn't mean we're going to spend more on the correct supplies for the scouts, now does it? That would just be brilliant, especially when we think that there's going to be an issue happening. But we don't, that bureaucracy aside, there's nothing that's going to happen. We're crying wolf. We're going to be pissed off the militia, so next time something does happen, next few months, or for the longer memoried ones, the next few years, they're not going to take their responsibilities as fervently. We need to use our resources, every one of them, when and where it's necessary. And this just isn't it. This is foolish. It was 2 guards. That just had a bad run-in.
I grabbed my glass. You know, I apologize. I shouldn't undermine you. You're right. I won't worry about it anymore. He raises his glass to him.
I appreciate that you've invested so much into our town. Again, you are very quickly a household name in our town, and certainly one that my children will remember to teach their grandchildren.
I clank. Clink glasses with him. I'm gonna exit that conversation on that note, and I guess make my way over to someone else. Just kind of talking more, getting more ears involved. I'm not gonna go through another conversation, but I imagine I'll have similar, slightly different conversations with a couple more members of the patrol that is there in the bar at the moment. Then beyond that, I'm not sure what else to do as far as inciting.
So on this night with these people that you have here, he seems to be the commanding officer in this in particular place because he's a lieutenant. But he's pretty dug his heels in for what his opinion is. And as you had already said, you're not really going to push that anymore with him sitting right there, because that would just be a slap in the face to him and it would look bad. But he is the lieutenant.
I'm drawing a blank, to be honest with you. You gotta throw me a bone here.
No problem. So you can always come back a different day because different people come each time. You can always go speak to another LT or the captain of the guard. So it's up to you. I can also tell you that the captain of the guard seems to be wanting to be on high alert, has those concerns himself already. And this lieutenant is telling you straight out he is going out of his way to try and make sure, as long as he can bend the ear of the captain, he's going to try to bring back these defenses. It's unnecessary.
Yeah.
That is what he's going out of his way of doing, whereas the captain of the guard is already on that alert.
So I need to find the captain of the guard, basically.
Sure.
And go, above his head, which is, I don't want to do that, but I kind of feel I got to at this point.
Okay. So Otto, I imagine, finishes having a good night with them, goes home, sleeps probably more sober than he has in a long while. Wakes up the next day, informs I assume, correct me if I'm wrong, that you inform the keeper of the inn that you're not going to perform that night.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Okay. And you continue on to find out whoever it is you want to. So you want to specifically find the captain of the guard.
Yes, I'll just ask around within the patrol that was there, along with whoever I can find, I suppose, meandering through the streets, who that happens to be.
Okay. So the captain of the guard in this town's name is Ted.
Okay.
Just kidding.
Just
kidding.
I was right there with you.
You're like, Ted, Bill, Kevin, it's all good.
It's Talik is his name.
Okay.
So Talik is the captain of the guard here, and you can get his name easily. You can get him no problem. You can even find out where he's on duty, where he talks to that. All that stuff is very easy for you to get without even rolling die. People openly tell you pretty much whatever you want out of the city folk.
Mhm.
As, you know, obviously, guards tend to be, depending on who they are, a little bit more on alert with information in general. So you find Talik, and you start. You want to approach him directly. Like, what's your approach to this?
Yeah. So I imagine there's a bit of a formal process I can go through to try to request an audience with him, right? Or is it just sort of an open door situation?
If he's in his office, you request an audience. If you're trying to grab him when he's kind of like out inspecting things, open door situation.
Okay. I think I'll request an audience. I'd like to sit down in a more formal setting with him.
Roll me a persuasion check, but do it with advantage because you are Otto in this town and everybody loves you.
Mm-hmm. Persuasion?
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
There you go. So you give yourself that 20, and they're like, easily get it set up. He would love to see you, and he sees you not like that night, but he sees you later on that evening.
Okay.
So, not that night. Sorry, later on that afternoon. So while the sun is still up, he has you come in. So when you do go into the guard place, and you get Garrison, you go to speak to him in his office or whatever. It's you come walking in the door, and as soon as like he's kind of like doing his things, you walking in, he was doing his things obviously because you could like see the paperwork around or whatever. But when you come walking in, he's sitting straight up and looking at you. Roll me an insight check.
Yeah.
So he's looking straight at you as you go walking in, and he's just kind of like, "Oh, Otto, please come in, sit down."
Oh, Captain Talik, thank you for meeting me. I appreciate it on such short notice.
Not a problem, of course. I know that you've I have never met you before directly, but you've made a name for yourself here, and I've seen I've heard that you hang out with the men in their after hours.
Yes, actually, several members of your patrols I've managed to make an acquaintance with. Bill and Larrabee in particular, I've made good friends with. They're a great group.
I heard from Larrabee all about you, and is it true that you've signed pretty much every time you've seen him, you've signed something for him?
He's a big fan. So
absolutely ridiculous to ask that many times. I mean, how many signatures now?
Well, I mean, the last time it was the bottom of his left boot, so I'm not sure he's got many more clothing items left for me to go for, but we'll see. We'll see what he brings.
I think it's obnoxious that somebody would ask you to sign. I mean, I personally just would like you to sign one thing for me, but to ask that many would be ridiculous.
No matter about that anymore. I do come regarding a very serious matter, in fact.
Oh, of course. And we will get down to business in a moment. Right here, to Cecilia with love.
I do come with serious business, unfortunately.
Of course. Do you sign it and then jump into it, or
yeah, why not?
Right okay, nope, no problem. He's like, yes, of course. He's like very delicately like putting it off to the side and like between a couple of books to make sure it doesn't get like hurt or whatever. I have to make sure the ink dried. And he puts it off to the side, and he's like, and now you clearly have his full attention. Roll me one more insight check.
Sure. Yep. Hey, look at that.
So what is it? You clearly have his full attention now, though.
Okay.
So he's sitting there and he's like, what's the news? What's the business? Does this pertain to your friend's Thunk?
It does, in fact. Do you know of him?
Again, I hear who spends the time with my guards. It would be foolish not to know who they are, to not keep an eye on things. What of this Thunk? I hear he's been very friendly with the guards.
Oh yes, well, friendly. Otto does like
he stumbles.
Yeah, does a little bit of a double take at that. That's wonderful to hear. Yeah,
so genuine. That was good.
But there is the matter of the recent incident that I'd like to discuss with you, and of course my condolences for those lost.
When you say that, he immediately reaches down into his his drawer, his desk, pulls out a drawer. He pulls out a small bottle of some sort of unmarked liquid. He taps it twice on the desk, pops the cork, and takes the swig and hands it to you.
I do the same.
Okay.
Respect.
Takes it back, puts the cork back in, and puts it down there.
Mm-hmm.
You can clearly tell that he's not the kind of person that usually drinks at work, but that was an exception. Go ahead.
Sure. I take a moment again before beginning. These attacks are familiar to me. Of course, you mentioned you haven't had a chance to hear my performance, but I tell stories, and these stories often have to do with battle, of course. I've seen, unfortunately, many battles fought at the hands of orcs that you wouldn't have expected, I suppose I could say. I just want to make sure that this town is going to be properly prepared in the event of an unfortunate attack.
I can assure you, and I know that your concerns are well placed. I don't think this was a coincidence. We actually had caught sight of a few orcs that were scouting around the area long prior to this incident happening, that were loitering about. I don't know if it's an incoming tribe or an advanced scout from the north or whatever the case may be, but we have seen them. And when this happens, I think things, I don't think that they happened intentionally. I think it was an accident. The way that they tried to cover it up by burning the bodies and everything must have been an accident. But that doesn't change the fact that they are there, they are scouting, and they are willing to kill if need be. It is a concern, and so I have the guards on alert. So make one of two things happen. Should they attack, we have advanced, we take care of it, the problem solved immediately, little to no casualties, we succeed. Or to scare them off. Sometimes the best way to chase away a rabid dog is a loud sound, and that's what I'm doing. I'm puffing my feathers.
Glad to hear you're on alert then, Captain. Now, naturally, you mentioned you know Thonk. I know orcs well. I do, and I've gotten to know them even more over the course of these past few months, but they are they're an unpredictable lot and aggressive more often than not. I'm sure you're aware. Well, it does seem you've taken the proper precautions. I thought you ought to know what you're dealing with.
So what is it about this Thonk you're trying to tell me?
He's a good man.
No, not you. Not you. You be quiet. You be quiet. Be quiet.
Just I'm speaking for Otto. He's a good man. You can
quiet.
trust him.
No. Otto is very good at speaking for himself.
He is very, very nice, he says with a big smile on his face. He cares deeply about those he associates himself with, or, you know, he has his own way of showing it, at least, but he's driven as well, very determined to accomplish his goals. But, sorry, go ahead.
No, he's thinking.
Mm-hmm. Otto kind of takes a step toward the desk, and you can trust him, he says, looking right at Captain Talik.
Trust him for what?
For what do you need?
I'll be honest with you, Otto. The fact that he came in and made friends with the guards didn't make me think two things about it. Even though it happened after we had seen the orc scouts and whatnot, didn't think two things of it. But then when that incident happened, it got me thinking, maybe Thonk is one of them. And that was his way of making his way in as a scout that is good with words and has a strong liver and speaks the way the guards like and is getting information that way. That's what I was concerned about. I heard that the guards were even supposed to be hanging out with Thonk that evening. I don't know if they actually met up with him or not, but I did hear that they were supposed to spend time with him that evening. And that was the night that they disappeared. And it just raises concern for me as to why it is that he has come here and made friends with the guards right before this all happening. Now, before anything else there, could you please roll for me your persuasion check?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Are you happy with that roll, or do you want to roll lucky?
No, sorry, you left off. What was the last thing you said?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I was actually going to continue. It's not a big deal. But the last
Okay,
thing you
yeah,
said
yeah.
is I find it strange that Thonk would blah, blah, blah.
You're
I was
right.
just asking because I know you thought that this was important. Did you want to use lucky or are you happy with
No,
19,
I'm happy
which is
with
a
that.
really
That's
good
good.
number. Okay,
That's good.
cool. I just like burning your assets if I can. So he's like, but then you come in here and you're doing the same thing, just walking up to one of the guards. You gathered a name, being a friend of Thonk's, and you've used that name to make your way into my office and to have this conversation with me, speaking well of Thonk, to rest aside concerns. Now, this could be perceived as someone playing their part to try to coerce me into thinking that he's a good guy, so I follow what he says, but don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. But you're actually part of some bigger plot that I should be aware of.
Otto smiles.
Lucky for you, for me, and for the whole town. Oh, God, that takes such a weight off my shoulders. If you were actually representing those orcs to the north, they wouldn't have a goddamn halfling with them, especially with half as much talent as you. There's no way they would have gotten somebody like you to be a part of them this quickly. There's no way. Sure, they could have paid some person walking through there to do this task, but there's no way. Oh, God. I've been so scared. I was so concerned this entire time. But you actually rest aside my concerns of Thunk. I thought I was going to have to string him up next time we saw him. Well, not to kill, to question.
Otto nods.
Thank the gods. He would have been an innocent man.
Glad I could put your mind at ease.
The concern, though, is what do I do now that we're just having a conversation? I know that your stories are experiences. You've done these things. You've been off and far. I only know this region and how to handle those here. But these orcs are different, if they actually are. These orcs are from deeper in the north than we typically deal with. These orcs aren't a tribe like I used to deal with. These orcs have purpose. And that purpose has led them to topple over a dwarven nation, topple over Mithril Hall, topple over the rule of Brunner Battlehammer. That is not, these names I know well. I've met him myself. My hand still hurts from when it shook his. So when I say that these orcs are not ones we typically deal with, it carries weight. How do we handle it? How do we handle their scouts? How do we handle the accident?
You are in an advantageous position, my friend. You might as well know that they're coming. At this point, it's a prediction, but you know. You can let them play into your hand.
How so?
You know what is appealing to them. You know what this town has. Gold, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Let them come. Let them come for it. Show it to them. They won't be able to resist. There's a draw these orcs have. It's carnal. It's instinctual. They won't be able to resist. You let them play into you, and you win.
Let them catch wind of reserves that maybe are known about, but nobody else does. So it's safe. And have them go there to find this gold.
Let them think they've discovered it themselves.
Mm-hmm. And then?
Well, I think you're a better battle strategist than I.
You mean box them. Kill box. Take it out. Quick and clean. But there's a treaty that my town is a representative of with that country to the north. And I'll be damned if war starts because I pulled the trigger early. To retaliate against violence is one thing. But right now, if I were to try to say, but 2 of my men died, out drunk, meandering in the wild, and bumped into some orcs that I think are a part... You see the argument here?
I do.
would fall flat to the ears of the courts, and I'd find myself in shackles. Even worse if a war actually came of it.
Otto thinks on this for a moment. Otto zaps out of character for a moment. What do I do?
Mike, would you
I
like to
don't know
help him
what to
out?
suggest.
Well, I mean,
don't
you.
have
So
a plan
basically,
here.
like, here's the thought. The idea that Thonk kind of like set you off with is just like keep them paranoid, keep them aggressive, because it doesn't really matter. And we'll say like Thonk would have probably had this in discussion with you. It doesn't really matter who wins this fight, because if the town loses, we win. If the orcs lose, it's going to bring the wrath of Dark Arrow Keep on them, and we win anyway. So the point is just to spark conflict and just keep him aggressive, keep him ready to fight. Whether you want him to step forward and be the first to attack, or just to prepare for an attack, that's up to you, Otto. Whatever you want to do with him, he's putty in your hands. But just keep him aggressive.
Okay. Otto turns back to him. Orcs don't honor treaties.
Ain't that the truth? I mean, think of it this way. Have you ever heard of an orcish treaty?
Otto just laughs.
Yeah. Hey, orcs, cease fire. These are different orcs, Otto. They're different. You've traveled far. You've seen many types of orcs. Your accent tells me that you are from no lands I've ever heard from. You've seen different types of orcs. I've never seen ones with this kind of fire and this kind of purpose. They seem like a war machine just rolling across the battlefield, a trebuchet ready to launch. It feels as though they've only stopped just now to reload or fix a broken wheel, and then the march continues. These are the scouts that are plotting the distance between where to shoot and when to cut the rope, and I cannot be the one to shoot because of my concerns. It'll make things worse. So how do I handle them? How do I?
I look like I've actually been kind of considering this option for a while, but didn't want to bring it up. But then I finally just sort of, come to terms with it. And I look at him and say, you make sacrifices. I look back up at him and I say, you must make it appear as though it was an attack. But they will go for what you provide them. You send men. You stage.
Otto, I know of your underhandedness. I know of the company you keep when you step out the city walls. I know of the things that you do. You're too high profile for me to have not heard the things, and the guards all keep off of you because you bring a certain light to the town that is worth having, and some necessary evils help to appease the citizens and bring commerce and whatnot. And I get that, but this is just, I'm sure that you could advise in ways because of the nature of who you are, where you've been, and what you do, but this doesn't sit easy on my belly. I'm not telling you that it's not a good plan. I'm telling you that it's, in the end of the day, should I win, in the end of the day, should I actually succeed and the threat is thwarted and peace lasts and nobody falls victim of courts or otherwise, and there are no casualties in the city. But then I know what I did. How do you go home at the end of a long day, the end of a 16-hour scout? How do you go home and kiss your wife and tell your boy how to hold his sword? How do you go home and do that?
How do you go home condemning your entire town to death?
That's good.
kill box. I can lead them there and then see what they do. I could plan it, but we can't pull the trigger. Otto, we can plan it, but I need to watch. I need to see. I need to see how they handle things. What if they are just a scout and it was just a mistake? And the soldiers panicked, not the commander's command. The soldiers panicked. They're just men with no education. I mean, orcish marriage, hence, but they're just men that panicked. I will watch them. The kill box is brilliant. It really is. I appreciate the thought, but I will watch them. I will see how they play it out. Just so happens to be that we did find a vein about 4 months ago, before the rush really set in. We just haven't sent anybody even there beyond the guards that are set there to keep an eye on it. We haven't sent anyone there to mine it, because we don't want others to catch wind that we know of one waiting for the, you get it. You get necessary evils from time to time, but
set the bait and they will come.
All right, Otto, you come with a good plan. I appreciate it. Thonk, he knows the way orcs think. He knows the way the orcs think. He could probably tell me the best way to lure them there. If he came too soon, it looked strange. We need time. I need time to mull this over too, to see if I'm actually going to go through with it. I need time to plan out who's going. I need time for these things. I need Thonk here. 3 days time.
I can bring him.
So get him here. I'll meet with him, and we'll see what we can do. We can see how we can do this.
Mm-hmm. Otto nods and turns to go.
Otto.
Stops and plays.
Thank you for your investment in this town, both on stage and off.
Just a small nod and walks out.
So, yep, like you said, a small nod, walks out. What do you do immediately after that?
I am just going to go back to the bar. And I'm going to, on my way back, I brought the sending stone with me. Mm-hmm. And I believe Thonk has the other one. I'm going to send him a quick message saying...
25 words or less, I believe. Mm-hmm. So have at it.
The captain of the guard would like to meet with you in 3 days.
And this is happening on day 2, so I'm like still traveling.
This happens on day 2 while you're still traveling. Absolutely.
Okay.
So hence the urgency of why you would burst into the tent.
Yeah. All right. There you go. I'll reply.
So the day that he intends to meet with you is the day that you would really be spending a lot of time trying to coordinate things with the orcs, meaning that you wouldn't be able to really do that beforehand. So you probably would have left pretty quickly afterwards. So what's your response? I'm sorry, Mathis?
I'll work things as quickly as I can, will be my response.
Okay. So what is your... Actually, you know what? I don't care what your tactic is, because you're going to need time to think about that. And we said that this was going to be a nice, quick 2-hour stream. This got almost everything we needed to do out of the way. Thank you, gentlemen, very much for stopping in and taking care of this for me. This is all going to culminate to a nice, fun situation next session, when, of course, Maggie will be back with us and Grommen will be there. This would have been boring for Grommen. He would have just been like, I don't know why you lie. You know?
Go guard the door, Grommen.
But guard and door.
No, should just start carving the door into the bird. Like, fancy feathers.
Yeah. Guard, pretty door for a pretty guard. You know. So thank you, gentlemen, very much for swinging by to do a quicker thing to set things in order for how it's going to play out in the future. I appreciate it. Anything else that we need to cover before we go?
No. Just as far as chat is concerned, if people are asking, we will be back next week, normal time, normal show length, and then Sam will be back in full force on the 1st of August, so the session after that. He could have been back today, just would have made no sense for a lot of reasons, and then he couldn't attend next week because he's going to be at CoxCon. So
it's three additional weeks he's not here. Is that what it was? Correct?
Yeah, well, yeah, I would say it's this
so
week,
1
next
week,
week,
1 week,
2 weeks.
Yeah, 1
weeks.
week. So what? Oh, because is next week the CoxCon?
Yeah, next week is CoxCon.
Oh, I'm sorry. So yeah, that's right. Next week he would have been able to be here, and it would have made no sense story-wise for Rye to all of a sudden pop in and then pop back out again. And we all know, I can play Rye.
Yeah,
You
no.
all like.
Well, that's gotten really weird now.
Nah, I'm just joshing you. No, so we yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no,
I'm
thank
happy.
you guys for coming
I'm
by.
happy.
Appreciate it. Nice short
Fucking thing,
stream.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It went really, really well. Appreciate it,
Hey,
Bear.
I actually just want to say, Bear, this is a great opportunity for you to really see. So, fun thing, Bear.
Yeah.
My favorite DM style, my number one favorite DM style is me to DM over 3 PCs. And my second favorite is me to DM over 2 PCs.
Mhm.
And then 4, and then 1, and then 5. So like that's actually how my style goes. So for me, like the RP, everything fell in place perfectly. And I'm like, 2 PCs. I haven't done this so long. And Mathis is, of course, like I've done this a million times with Scott, being locked in a sweaty, dirty room with him for so long.
It's nasty. But I appreciate it. Thank you, Bear, for popping by for a couple of hours while we kind of get this big chunk of story. Next one, it sounds like it'll be just a big fight, which will be fun, and then we'll move on from there. For those who are also asking, when's the Thursday show? The Thursday show will be announced shortly after I return from my trip. We got the whole cast finally. We've got all 4 players locked in, and I'm gonna be running it, so that'll be really fun.
I'm so excited.
But we're gonna
make your life miserable.
And then I will give you I'll give you guys all the proper like title announcement, rule system, all that stuff. We'll probably end up making most characters on stream like we did for Star Wars. Thank you guys a bunch for stopping by, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.